I know this is a very odd way to start a video, but when I was out earlier today, I did the video, but I stayed silent for a reason. It was earlier in the day and I didn't have my voice that much. I've actually managed to gain some of my voice back. As you can tell, I am battling laryngitis, but that's okay. I feel fine. It's just the laryngitis. So what you're looking at are the sidewalk or pavement mushrooms. The first thing you want to do when you find Agaricus is you want to scratch it, and you want to make sure it doesn't stain yellow, because if it does, you have the yellow stainer, which is toxic and definitely not consumable. At this stage, you may think, okay, it could be the sidewalk mushroom or it could be the field mushroom. What tells them apart is, number one, the season. It's very early in spring right now, so it is sidewalk mushroom season. And also, although these are very young, you do not see the veils very clearly here. The sidewalk mushrooms have 2 veils and the field mushroom has 1. So what you're going to do is always, like I say, test it to make sure it doesn't stain yellow. Now, Agaricus, the sidewalk mushroom, it is a saprobic, meaning that it lives in organic matter, but it does lack oxygen. And they love roadsides, right along the sidewalks, pathways, and they actually can grow through tarmac. Now, the areas they tend to prefer is where there has been a lot of salt applied to combat the ice in wintertime. And as you saw in the video, it's right along a sidewalk that does get iced, or it gets salted in the wintertime. Sorry for the mistakes. I'm trying my best here, folks. Okay, so you can find this throughout Canada, the United States, many parts in Europe, as well as in Australia and New Zealand. These are relatively young samples, and I wanted to pick them this morning because I knew, being right next to a school, by the end of the day, these would end up being trampled on. Not to mention, these were at the most perfect stage of growth in terms of edibility. What you can see here is, let's see if I can, there we go. So the largest one that I have right here is about 5 centimeters wide, which is 2 inches. And right now they're convex, but they become flattened as they mature. And when that happens, they grow to about 10 centimeters wide, which is 4 inches. Now the surface of the cap is actually white, and it does have some markings on it, somewhat flaky or scaly. And more often than not, the caps are discolored by the earth because they're doing a lot of their growth underground. And often when we find it, we only see what's popping up and not the entire mushroom. Another word on safety when identifying these is make sure that when you pick these, go deep into the ground enough to know that these are not coming from an egg-shaped sac, because if they are, you have Amanita. Technically, it's not the environment for Amanitas, but better safe than sorry, because if it's coming from, as I mentioned, an egg-shaped sac, stay away from it. It's going to be toxic. Now, how to clean these up is going to be difficult. I could wash them, or what I'm going to do is, I'm going to try to do this carefully, take it from the edge, and you can see that it peels quite nicely. So if you want to take the time, you can peel these quite nicely. And then you can take them into the kitchen. And that's what I'm about to do now. Stay tuned. Before I head into the kitchen, I decided to sit out here just a little bit longer because I will be peeling off the outer layer. But I thought it would be kind of neat to show you what the inside of these look like throughout the different stages of growth. So this was the sidewalk mushroom that was almost 2 inches wide, or 5 centimeters. Getting a little smaller and smaller until we have almost like a baby button mushroom. Now these mushrooms are related to the common store-bought white mushroom, which is Agaricus bisporus. And they're very similar in terms of physical and genetic traits. However, let's end this part of the video here, and I'll show you what I'm cooking up with these shortly.